Hey, fourth grade art friends, it's Mrs. Herbay. All right, so this week we're going to get down to the business of, we're going to take what we've experimented as far as drawing different forms, and we're going to start to think about drawing cakes. All right, now we talked about last week how to make a cylinder we need to draw oval shapes. And what I want you guys to do is, if you want to grab this how to draw a cake worksheet that I sent home for you, and also just open up your sketchbook again to a blank page, okay? And then all we're gonna need today is a pencil. So if you wanna go grab a pencil, and then we'll get started. All right, guys. So what we're gonna do first is we're gonna talk about just drawing a cylinder. And a lot of times it's hard to draw two ovals that are exactly the same size. So what happens, what you can do is, sort of in this little worksheet, you can start off with either a square or a rectangle. So what I want you to do is just really lightly, let's draw a rectangle that's a little bit taller. And then let's try to draw more of a square. And you want to just press really, really lightly because these lines are eventually going to get erased, okay? So now that we have these two shapes, and they're a little bit different from one another, but they will still create a cylinder for us. So then what we're going to do is we're going to draw an oval sort of around the top part of this rectangle. And what you can do is, if you have trouble drawing an oval, I like to just kind of use my shoulder and kind of have my hand kind of slide around like this. But what you can also do is you can kind of just make like a curve and then kind of do the same curve underneath. So you just do it nice and lightly, and you're just kind of circling around. So there's cylinder number one. And then we're going to do the same thing down below. Try not to extend out. See how I kind of went a little bit? You want to try to have your oval end at the edge of your rectangle. So again, I just have this nice light oval here, okay? And then we already have these lines here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to outline that, and then I'm going to outline this curve, and then I'm going to outline, oops, I went off my original line, okay? And now you have an oval. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to erase that line there, and then we're going to erase those inside lines. So now I have a cylinder, okay? And let's say we were going to turn this into a cake, right? It would be a really tall, thin cake, but we could still do that. So, but we're going to leave this here for a second, and then we're going to try that same strategy over on this side, where we're going to draw that oval like that, and then we're going to draw our bottom oval like that, okay? And then again, what we're going to do is we're going to connect our sides, okay? Now, according to the worksheet, we're also going to, when we draw our cakes, we are also going to draw our cakes with a slice taken out of them. And so what's going to happen is we are going to, in order to do that, we are going to leave these light lines here for right now, okay? And so what's going to happen is, in this middle line here, we're going to draw a line that comes from here and it's going to go all the way down to the bottom of the cylinder. Okay? And then what we're going to do is we're going to then draw two angles. So we want, so we're going to draw an angle here and an angle here. So we want those angles to be the same. Okay? And then what we're going to do is on this one, we're also going to, but we're going to start on this line right here. So we started here and we angle down, and then we're going to start here and we're going to angle down. Okay? And then what we're going to do, and we want to make sure, again, like we said, they're the same angle, because what's going to happen is we're going to line up these two edges here like this. Okay? So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw down like that, and then I'm going to draw down like that. Okay? And so then what we can do is now we're going to erase these inner lines here. And we're also going to erase this part of the slice. And then now we can even erase this and this. And voila, we have a cake with a slice taken out. Now, you can think about when you're designing your cake, you can think about, well, how many layers of cake do I want to have in my cake? And if you notice the angle of this, it's sort of like, this is like an arrow, right? And it's going like this. And so when we draw, let's say I want to have 2 layers in this cake. So I'm going to put, so I want this line that I draw to be at the same angle as this one. So it's like I'm drawing another tip of an arrow, okay? And then I want to leave some space for icing, so I'm going to draw the next arrow close to that other arrow. And then now you see I have layer 1 and layer 2. And let's say I wanted more than 2 layers. If I wanted a whole bunch of layers, I could do that. But what I'm going to do is then I'm going to still draw these arrows. And then there's my icing. So there's one, so it's like 1 and then 1 close together. Then I'm going to do another one close together. And then I'll do my final one close together. So now my cake has 1, 2, 3, 4 layers. Okay? So what I want you to do is take some time and let's practice this, okay? And here's the thing. If you want your cake to be, I want you to also experiment with the size of your cake. So if you want your cake to be shorter and wider, then you are going to draw a rectangle that is not very high, but is rather long, okay? And then you would do the same thing where we're going to draw this oval in here. And see how I kind of lightly sketched it? And then what I can do is then I can erase off the lines that were a little bit off. And then I'm just going to do that same oval, okay? And then again, let's try that again. So then we're going to start in the middle here. I'm going to come down and I'm going to go all the way down to there. All right. Then I'm going to draw my angle and my angle, and those are touching this line here. And then I'm going to do the same exact thing down here. Touch the line, touch the line. So it's like I have an arrow here. Okay. Then I'm going to connect these 2 lines. All right. And then we sort of have a mishmash, so we're going to erase there. I'm going to erase there. And erase in here. Okay, and then now I have a cake that is a little bit wider and taller. And again, the wider I make it, the longer, and if I make it even shorter and longer, then my cake shape would change. So what I want you to do is try some different shapes. Try some different rectangular shapes. Try tall and thin. Try long and thin. Try, we tried square. Try a medium and see, and you'll kind of get an idea for the shape of the cake that you would like to create, okay? And then the next thing I want you to do is I have attached a Word document for you to look at, and you can print it out if you want to, or you can just look at it. But it has a lot of different inspiration, decorations for different cakes, okay? And things that you can do to decorate your cake. And so what I want you to do is, in addition to drawing some different size cakes, maybe look at some of those decorations and start to think about what type of decorations you would like to add to your cake. So for example, if you wanted to do icing, we could I'm doing sort of like those curved lines like that. And then I'm also doing it up here along this curved line like that. And then it's actually going to continue. So I'm just doing it along this edge here. Okay. And there is my icing. And then I'm also going to do it down here where I'm going to kind of, and it goes around the cake so you can kind of have it sort of peek around like that. And then it makes it look even more realistic. Okay. And I can add some lines to the frosting depending how it is. And again, you can talk about what is on top. Is there a cherry on top? I think in one of the examples we could practice drawing other three-dimensional shapes. We could practice drawing a cone. Maybe there's ice cream decorating the top of this cake, right? And so we would be practicing drawing a cylinder, right? We could draw other types of fruit. Maybe there's strawberry on the top of the cake. And again, we'll talk about ways that we can make it look like it's dimensional. Maybe there are sprinkles and decorations on your cake. Maybe the icing is drizzling down off the top. Okay, so just play around and think about some ideas for your cake, because then next week what's going to happen is I'm going to send home a nicer piece of drawing paper that you're going to be able to draw your actual cake on. But what I wanted you to be able to do this week is to try to kind of wrap your head around sort of some ideas and to practice drawing cakes and different size cakes using this technique that I showed you here. All right, so I hope you guys have a great week. I hope you enjoy this, and I will look forward to talking to you guys on Monday.